I should be happy by myself because being in the state of happiness is my real state. Anandadhyaiva khalvimani bhutani jayante anandena jatani jivanti anandam prayante abhisamvishanti iti. I have taken my birth in a state of bliss. Ananda is my real state. Now I am prevailing myself in the state of Ananda. And if at all there is any state called termination of this, even after the termination, I will be in the state of Ananda because that's my state. Ananda is my state. You should never apply force. Na balat, na hatat. No force, no challenge. That's the main sutra for Patanjali Yoga Sutra, for doing asanas. Okay. Hello, namaste to all. The Yoga Sutra, of course, as it derives, the etymological order of the Yoga Sutras is to say, Yujyate anena iti yogaha. Through what we are able to combine together, bring together, unite them is called yoga. What do we unite, what do we combine is all about our mental faculty and the supernatural faculty. The individual self and the supernatural self. So this is the normal combination that what we see in the beginning. But as far as Patanjali Yoga Sutra is concerned, the etymological order is really different. There is a commentary for the Patanjali Yoga Sutra by Vyasa. He gives a different opinion for the yoga as far as the etymological meaning is concerned. According to Vyasa, it's called Yuj Samadho. Yoga means samadhi, nothing but nothingness, nothing else. Yujyate anena iti yoga is one derivation through which we can combine is one derivation. But for Vyasa, it is not merely so. It's not so much. Yuj means samadhi. So as far as Patanjali Yoga Sutras are concerned, yoga means samadhi. I think all of you know the state of samadhi. What samadhi is, please?
To be internally search ourselves.
To search. Okay. Okay, good. The word search is a verb or a noun? Searching is a verb or a noun? It's a verb. In the state of samadhi, there is no kriya, there is no action. So as far as the word search is concerned, there cannot any action can happen there. It is such an actionless state. It is such a state where you have understood yourself. Also, you have left aside, kept aside all your attributions. You are beyond any attributions. If I say, in the state of samadhi, I am searching for something which is divine, which is of the higher order, which is celestial and so on, it doesn't hold good. It is such a state where I am doing,
in a peaceful state.
Where I am doing nothing, where I am doing nothing. That's your explanation to say I am in a peaceful state, I am in a highly smiling state, happy state, pleasant state and so on. It is such a state where you are gone beyond your perceptions. The all type of perceptions, that is, you could be your verbal perception or your visual perception, olfactory perception, auditory perception or tactile perception, whatever be that. All the 5 type of perceptions are lost. You are not witnessing any sense object there. Such a state is called the samadhi state. So it's not in a doing state. It is a state. It is merely a state where you have understood yourself and you are with yourself. That's all. So that's called the samadhi. Following the breath is called yogasana. In the posture, if you are following the breath, then it's yogasana. Otherwise, even now you are sitting, it could be an asana. Now you are not following your breath or prana or your consciousness and so on. It's a better answer, really, so good. During yogasana, it's not merely my physical posture. I am not merely sitting or standing or in a topsy-turvy posture or so. It is, I am trying to understand my inner self. So I could be practicing pranayama or could be going to the higher practices like dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Such a state which is capable of providing me a better understanding with this self-consciousness, with this self. Such a posture is called Yogasana. Otherwise, everything is asana. Of course, while naming Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali says asana. It means it is understood. We call that as Adhyahara. It is understood. It is called Yogasana. Pavitram Kuruchasanam. Of course, I have been doing postures always. Now also we are sitting. We have taken enough food beyond our capacity also. So now we have settled here. Why are we settled here? Not only with an intention to hear the discourse, also with an intention that I could be relaxed for a while being here. Both are right. So all the postures are not yogasanas. Okay? All the postures are not yogasanas, they are merely asanas. But we are not concerned merely about asanas, we are concerned about the yogasanas. Then, come on. How are you practicing your yogasanas daily? What are the types of yogasana that we have? What's the sutra for yogasana in Patanjali Yoga Darshana? Huh? Yes, you are right. Tatra sthiram sukham asanam is the sutra. In a state where the mind is so pleasant, also comfortable, and the posture is stable. It is the stable posture, also comfortable posture. If that's not stable, it's not comfortable, then it's not the yogasana. With all hardship, with all struggling, if you are doing some posture and saying this is the yogasana for the sake of gaining an award or a prize or so, to become a champion of yoga, so-called yogasana, that's not yoga. There is one thing, na balat, na hatat. This is yogasana. No force, no challenge. This is the basic principle in yogasana. While doing yogasana, you should never force your body. Also, you should never challenge against your body. If from the conveniences of your body, from the comforts of your body, if you are not able to perform a particular posture, then you should not do that. But you can have the practices. There is a very delicate sutra in, with Patanjali. He says, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodha. Another sutra, Prayatna Shaithilya Ananta Samapatibhyam. The yogasana or yoga practices become successful when you give up your efforts. You should not make your efforts. Then yoga is successful. Then we can think we should never make efforts. So we should be as we are. Then yoga is not successful. Immediately Patanjali suggests one more thing, Prayatna Shaithilya. Abhyasa. He says abhyasa. What abhyasa is? Practice. You should never give up your practices, but you can give up your efforts. You need not bend over all the way on the first day itself. It's not possible. You cannot, may not be possible. Bending over is not possible. But it doesn't mean that you should give up your even practice also. Keep up your practices always. By the way, you will gain a state of perfection even in doing asanas. So you should keep up yourself with the practices. Don't give up your practices. Please give up your idea of efforts. Prayatna Shaithilya. A state of effortlessness is the way for the success in the yoga practice. So these are the very important sutras. Prayatna Shaithilya Ananta Samapatibhyam. I think some of you have heard this. Prayatna Shaithilya Ananta Samapatibhyam. Then Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodha. I think you have read the sutras. Can you quote another sutra? Any sutra that comes to your mind right now, immediately. You just recall your classroom. Tatra sthiram sukham asanam. All the time. Okay, if you say all the time, it is so good of you. Because whatever the post that you have or you are able to do, you are feeling that itself is the yogasana. See, that feeling itself is yoga. It's not doing something. Really not doing something. Having done so much and also you are not pleased by yourself, then what's the use of doing such? It's not yoga. By doing a simple thing, a simple movement or a simple posture or a simple talk or a simple looking at or simple hearing at or simple tasting or simple touching, all this yoga. Your experiences with your sense perception with an idea of being pleasant, with a pleasant mind, while you are so happy, then such a state is yoga. You need not be doing some yogasana, coming here on this stage and doing a topsy-turvy posture, very difficult posture, while the photographer is waiting for that posture to take the, and the award ceremony is going on. You are waiting whether I will be the first or will be the second and so on. That's certainly not yoga. It's certainly not yoga. It's only a challenge. Patanjali never agrees or honors this. He honors only if you are able to realize yourself, enlighten yourself, being in the asana state, where you can understand the presence of your prana, where you can understand the presence of your mind, presence of your intelligence, even the proper submission of your ego, then such a state is called yoga. Unless you submit yourself, the element of your ego. What is the ego in our words? According to Patanjali, ahankara. It is ahankara. We have got many components. I should begin with some primary informations. Antakarana, the internal components, you know that. The yoga philosophy begins with explanations of some of the primary informations like manas and so on. What the manas is, what the mind is a flow of thought. It is a continuous flow of thought. How many thoughts can occur in a day? 65. Very good, you have counted, so good. There is average also. Okay. It is not average, it is only rage. It rages you. Okay, we cannot count that. It's impossible. By the time you identify one thought, several thoughts have already occurred. You can never recognize them. In a day or in an hour or in a minute, several thoughts have already occurred. By the time you hold the one, several have already missed from your hold. Such is the case of rising of the thought waves. That's why it's just like waves. So you cannot hold them. But as you said, it's just like a manifold structure of different memories, thoughts and so on is called the manas. Sakaranta napumsakalingo manashabdaha. It is neither the female nor the male. It is beyond any identification of the gender. Such an entity is called the manas. The emotional entity in us, what we have, is called the manas. At the same time, we have a rational entity which balances all your emotions and always directs you to do what to do and what not to do. Such a rational portion of your internal components is called the buddhi, called the intellect. The first one is the manas or the mind. The rational portion of that is called the buddhi or the intellect. Apart from this, there is one more. All of you know that. Just now we have heard that. Whenever I move myself, I have done this. I will go, I will do. This identification of myself, it's called the ego. Do you agree with? This is the third element what we have. The most emotional is the manas, the rational is the buddhi, the proclamation identifying myself is called the ego. But Patanjali is not dealing with any of these three. He says yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. He gives a peculiar and different word than the manas, buddhi and the ahankara called the chitta vritti nirodha. Then there should be some other meaning for the word called the chitta. What chitta is? Is it manas? Is it buddhi? Is it ahankara? Is it viveka? What the chitta is? He has not said yoga manovrutti nirodha. It's not manovrutti nirodha or the buddhi vritti nirodha. It is the nirodha or the managing of the activities or different modifications of the chitta, not of the mind. There's no word for chitta in English. You cannot discover that. You have to use the same word chitta in English or in any other language. Chitta is also just like manas, just like buddhi, just like ahankara, that what we have, but it is a grand storehouse of all your past impressions. Heard of the word samskara? It is the storehouse of all samskaras. It's called chitta. That's why Patanjali says he is not in the superficial level of this manas. If mind is controlled, everything is controlled. This is not the opinion with Patanjali. He says all the stored impressions of the past, it could be of the present also, when they are properly controlled, when they are properly taken care of, such a state of mind where everything is in balance, such a state is called yoga. That is yoga. Chitta vritti nirodha. The activities, because whenever you look at, or whenever you hear, or whenever you taste, or whenever you smell, or whenever you touch, whenever you have been observing or perceiving a sense object, you are becoming that. When you are looking at a big hill, you feel yourself as though you are as big as a hill is. When you are looking at a waterfall, you feel as though you are just like the water falling down. You become that itself. When you look at a small grain of a sugar, or a crystal of a sugar, or a crystal of a salt or so, you will become so tiny as the salt crystal is. If a scientist is capable of looking at a atom or an electron or a proton, something else, and he is for the time being becoming so tiny as the atom or the electron is. This is the case of the manas. Whatever I perceive, for the time being at least, I become the same. So these are the different modifications of the mind. They are called the modifications. So yoga is the controlling of, or the managing of, different modifications of the mind. Chitta vritti nirodha. Can anybody know, tell about chitta vrittis? Okay. How many chapters are there in Patanjali Yoga Sutra? I think all of you have seen the book. I think all of you have heard about that book, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Say yes, please, now. Yes. The books are our real fund. We must buy them, not merely to keep in our showcase, just for the exhibition. At least once in a way, we must look into that and make ourselves a resolution that I will be going through this in a deeper sense. So it is all about the different modifications of the mind. There are 4 chapters in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Please go on. This is the faith or belief in most of us. If I do few yogasanas, I can claim myself in the society that I have been doing yoga every day. And most of us have been doing only the postures, the asanas, nothing more than that. But yet we are claiming and telling to ourselves and telling to others also that I have been doing yoga. Why are you doing yoga? Many people say, since my neighbor is also going to the yoga school, I have decided to do so. I wanted to go slim, so I went to the yoga classes. I got a peculiar answer from a little aged woman who had joined the yoga classes, and she had attended for some 40 days or 2 months or so. I went to the concluding day of the yoga classes. So I was getting the opinion of the people who have practiced for nearly 2 months. That old lady said, "What is meant by yoga according to you?" She said, How do you feel this class? She said, I should tell this in Kannada. I think all of you can understand. She said, at this age, at least I got a yoga. What that yoga is? I got a yoga to wear the chudidar. Because probably her husband was not allowing her to wear the chudidar. Having entered into the yoga classes, he got an opportunity to wear a different styled dress. I accepted gladly because she was happy by wearing the chudidar. That itself is yoga. I should accept that. If you are really so happy with a particular type of attire, or with a particular type of conversation, or with a particular type of company being, that itself, that pleasantness itself is yoga. At least for the sake of that new attire, she has been attending the yoga. You should be glad for this. Is it right? It should be right. Because there are such few attractions in yoga, and many people believe by doing yoga my obesity will be lost, I will be so quite slim and so on. I have been looking at such women and men, of course, they have never gone slim, and they complain after 2 months or 3 months, I have done so much, and finally as a last resort I am coming to yoga also. This is not also, this not also, this also hopeless. I don't have any hopes in this. I didn't lose my weight. Is there any reason for such? They have been practicing yoga for a long, or not able to lose their weight or the obesity or so. Are you sure that you can be slim by doing yoga?
Take care of the diet along with the yoga, definitely.
Yes. What is meant by diet?
Means start healthy foods.
Okay. Okay.
Avoiding junk.
Anyway, die is always certain, dying is always certain, but it says yet. It's called the diet. Okay. You are right. Along with such yoga practices, there are so many other practices to be taken care of. Could be the food, could be our transactional aspect with people, your mental behavior, and so on. Everything is very important. Perhaps you heard of the Yamas and the Niyamas. What the Yamas and the Niyamas are? What is Yama? Ethics. What are they? Very good. You have said 5. So nice. Because very rarely people study Yamas and Niyamas. I am so glad that you have mentioned it. Also mentioned there are 5 Yamas. What are they? Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya. Huh?
Speak the truth.
Yes, it could be in English. Speak.
Ahimsa, non-violence.
Non-violence.
Not to hurt any living beings.
Okay. Then being truthful. A oath to not to steal, non-stealing.
Non-stealing.
Okay, no greed will do. For we will search what for it. Okay. Okay, ahimsa, satya, steya, brahmacharya, parigraha, yamaha. This is the sutra. Non-violence, being truthful always, abstain yourself from hurting others. This is what the ahimsa is. Brahmacharya, aparigraha, yamaha. Non-possessive, because the instinct, among all the instincts in the human being, the strongest instinct is the possessive instinct. We may be possessing several things that may come to my use, may not come to my use, of course. But yet, if I go out, if I look at something, I wish myself, I incline towards that object, to have that, to possess that. I don't know why I have been possessing it. There is no reason for such possession. But yet I wish to possess that. This is the case with any human being. So this is called the possession. This instinct is called the possessive instinct. Do you agree with this? Are you possessive of some objects, or are you possessive of some people? Both. This is still good. Still. So we are so strong to have such an instinct. Are you successful in such possessions? No. We try yet. This is the case. Why do you practice yoga? This is the answer. We have learnt many lessons. I have tried for the possessions a lot of times, and I have failed also. I could not possess all that I have planned to possess. Yet I have not given up my idea to possess it. It's still residing in you. The idea of possessing will never go away from you. You will keep up that, and you will again and again tend to possess that. If you go on the market, beautiful dresses are displayed in the showcase. I give this example always. the husband and going on a walk. Why do they go on the walk? Is to exercise themselves or to see something else? Is certainly not. That's your, you believe so, that's all. During walking, to please, yes please.
Together.
Huh?
To pass their time together.
Okay, you have to pass the time or time is passing you.
Not pass time means to be together to be there.
Okay, for so many such reasons, we have never understood why do we go on walk together. But since we are together, we go together. Okay. By the way, when they go on a walk, either in the evening or so, they go around. Perhaps there are several dresses, the attires are displayed in the showcase. Naturally, the wife tends to look at it. On the dolls or it is displayed. She says, I should buy this. She has already a showcase full of dress in her home, yet there is an inclination for the new one which is displayed here. While the wife is looking at the dress displayed on a doll, what the husband is doing? He looks at the doll because that's the female dog. The wife looks at the attire. But the husband looks at the person who is wearing the attire, because since it is the female. And of course, if it is a male dress, naturally it is vice versa. Of course, the same thing happens. And finally, who looks at the price tag? Nobody knows. It is inevitable for them to buy. For this is called the possession, aparigraha, yamaha. Patanjali says, for any sense object, there are three states. One is to possess, one is to have that, to buy that, for buying that or possessing. Then maintaining it is difficult. First, buying it is difficult. It's not so easy to buy that. Then maintaining is again difficult. Then finally, if at all it is lost for any reason, you are so sad. So you should see it is not lost from your hold. So that's why it always brings you the grief, a state of grief. Any possession finally brings you the grief. So Patanjali says, possess only so much that you really need. Many times we say we should never bring something which is for tomorrow. Are you sure you are going to live for tomorrow? You are not so confident to answer this. Because you want to say, yes, we are going to live for tomorrow. Anyway, I wish all the good for that. Okay. Nobody knows what happens tomorrow, but yet we plan for tomorrows, not only for tomorrow, for several years. Next year I will do this. In the next coming 10 years I will be doing this, and so on. So this is what our inclination for possessing is. That's why aparigraha. Don't plan to possess more and more. Really, if you want to have only so much that you really need for the time. That's all. Then for the niyamas, what are the niyamas? You all have studied sutras so much and are trying to be hiding in the last row. Why? The niyamas are shaucha, santosha, tapas, swadhyaya and ishvara pranidhan. What shaucha is?
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness. Okay. Then santosha?
Happiness.
Happiness. Okay. Is there any other explanation for santosha?
Anand.
Contentment. Yes, contentment. It is about the contentment. Okay. Then swadhyaya. What swadhyaya is?
Self-analysis.
Self-analysis. What do you do after the self-analysis? Okay, analysis is right. You are right. You are right. Answer is really right. Why do you need that? Why?
Mistakes done, it can be ratified.
Okay. What are the?
If any mistakes has been happened,
Okay.
it will not repeat after the self-analysis.
My dear sir, you will never mistake. Then why do you need that? Swadhyaya do you really need? Because you will never mistake. You will never err.
Becoming aware, who am I? Becoming aware that I'm a spirit.
Okay, okay. It is a self-enquiry. To know more and more about myself. It is about the self-enquiry. It's called the swadhyaya. Moksha shastradhyanam pranava japova. This is what Patanjali says. Because I am going on the lines of Patanjali, so I am referring only Patanjali Yoga Sutras. He says, Moksha shastradhyanam pranava japova. Go to such texts which finally leads you towards the total liberation or towards the enlightenment. So such a reading or such a studying could be of the books, could be of the circumstances, is called Swadhyaya. If you are not able to put yourself into the studying of the text, then you can have another, that's called the Pranava Japa. You keep on repeating the name, whatever be that. If he says Pranava Japa, say Om, 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 and so on. If you are not attracted by the Om sound, you can select any other sound. Okay, it's called the Swadhyaya. Ishvara Pranidhana. What's Ishvara Pranidhana? Surrendering. Okay, I don't believe God, then where should I surrender? If that is the case. If I do not believe the God. Okay, to the Prakriti. What the Prakriti is? You mean the nature? Nature. Why should I believe that? I am the part of that. As a tree is, there is a human. As an animal is, there is a human. Why should I believe that something at all? Is it really necessary to live a happy life, to believe something? Without believing something, I can have a happy life. Without believing God, without believing the nature, without believing you, I can be happy by myself. Can't I be? You should say yes or no. Yes. Then why do I do going to the temples, churches, prayers, helping others? By helping others, I will be so good. God will help me also. Why should I believe all such theories? Is it really necessary? I should be happy is right. I should be happy is right. If I say I should be happy by doing this, means should I do that? Then it's a burden for me to do such thing. I should be happy by myself because being in the state of happiness is my real state. Anandadhyaiva khalvimani bhutani jayante anandena jatani jivanti anandam prayanti abhisammishanti iti. I have taken my birth in a state of bliss. Ananda is my real state. Now I am prevailing myself in the state of Ananda. And if at all there is any state called termination of this, even after the termination, I will be in the state of Ananda because that's my state. Ananda is my state. The grief is not my state. Crying is not my state. Complaining is not my state. I am really beyond any such questions. I need not have any faith, trust, and so on. If I can be happy by believing the God, I can do that. If I am not happy by believing the God, what do you do?
Nothing. Have you be happy? You will be happy.
Have you ever accused God? Perhaps you have accused an officer whom have never discharged his obligations for you. But many times God has never discharged your prayers. He has not responded for your prayers. But you have never accused God. Why? Why? Because you have not seen him yet. Have you ever? Do you want to say yes? We have been believing whom we have never seen. Is it good or bad? I know you will say it's good. For a simple thing you have never seen. If you see once, then you will start doubting. Okay, anyway, let's not talk on the God, of course. To be in a state of contentment is our business. That's called santosha. That's called santosha. We must be happy and content always. Contentment is more than happiness. With whatever that I have, I should be content enough. I should be satisfied by myself. I need not always incline upon something which is beyond my reach and control. With whatever that I have, I should be content. This is about this santoshans, tapasvadhyaya santosha, ishwar pranidhana. These are the yamas and the niyamas. And further goes the asana, pranayama. I think all of you know pranayama. Do you know pranayama, all of you?
Yes.
You can proudly say yes. And now I will question what prana is.
It's a life force.
It's a life force. It's a life force. How do you define the life force? You say this is a living being, that's a non-living being, for example. How do you say because there is prana in the living being, you say that it's the life force, is it? Is that your answer? Do you have any other answer? That's the answer. Can you imagine your existence without the existence of prana? No. Is there prana in you? Yes. With your neighbor person? You have to doubt. Okay, you are not you are not so comfortable with your neighbor. Okay, in a tree?
Yes, it is there.
In a tree. Okay. In the water of the river?
Everything on this earth has prana.
Earth has prana, water has prana, the light has prana, the wind, the air has prana, and the space has prana. Why? Where do you find them all?
Within ourselves.
Within yourselves. Okay. We believe all.
Connected.
Very good. So pranayama is merely a breathing exercise or a little beyond that?
Beyond that.
What that beyond is? Yes, this answer we really wanted to have. Okay. See, I am not testing anybody. Please don't mistake me. We are discussing here. This is a comfortable discussion to evolve ourselves. That's all. I am neither testing you. So this is prana. You say is a type of energy. Okay. After the death of the person, does the prana remains there? Where it goes to? Huh? In the nature. Earlier was it what with the nature? It was with the nature. Then after the death also you say it is going to the nature. What is going to be going to? Earlier it was the.
Changing form.
Yes, please.
It's changing form.
Form. To what form he goes? It goes to.
Because we are nature.
We are nature.
So when we are through breath, we are connected.
Okay.
We say we are alive.
Okay.
When that we are disconnected, the breath, the prana leaves the body. It's just savam, and it still exists.
You earlier said it is energy. Is it?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, you didn't say it. Okay, okay. Life force. Force is not energy. It's only the force. Okay, agreed. Okay. So during the practice of pranayama, I am not merely observing my breathing system. Beyond that, I am observing the existence of life force or what's called the energy in any form. It could be a biotic energy or kinetic energy or any type of energy. So I have been observing the energy in my body. Is it? Where the prana is.
Prana is everywhere.
Prana is everywhere. Then you are everywhere.
I mean, in the body.
Everywhere in the body. Everywhere in the body. We cannot find a synonym in English for the word prana. Just to explain it, we say life energy, life force energy, biological energy, like that we say. But prana is prana, but you have understood it. You are right. You can find. You are telling something.
I said inner force.
It is inner. What is meant by inner means?
Inner force. That prana, it's like inner force.
Inside of you, you mean?
Yes.
Then you have an outer force also.
Yeah, when we.
Because you are saying inner force, there should be an outer force also.
When it disconnects from the prana.
Okay. Then all your explanations confine that the energy, so-called energy prana, is inside the body, and it dispels itself sometime. Is it? It goes out. So this is the explanation. There is a mother has got a baby, small baby. Baby is there. Somebody comes and slaps the baby, hits the baby, throws the baby out. What the mother does? Is she smiling? No. Then how she feels?
She'll be angry.
She will be only angry by sitting here.
No.
Then what she does?
Won't be in her place. And she'll pick her baby. And she'll ask.
As if her life itself is lost. She behaves so. Is it? Is her prana is here or in the baby?
Baby. Here. In the mother.
Not in the baby.
The emotional connection.
Huh?
Both having.
So there are the prana is in two places. It is with the baby. It is with my baby as a mother. It's with my baby. Also here being the mother. Is it? I behave so when my a baby is troubled, do I be here? Can I be here so safely and with a smiling? I rush to the event and pick my baby and console the baby and abuse the fellow who has done that, and I take all the care. Mother feels for the baby so much as if her prana is lost. Is it? Then where the prana is? Is in mother, not in the baby? Okay. Okay, we will go to the next example. You are always breathing. Please say yes for this at least. Yes. Otherwise, I will be doubting. So we are always breathing. For a few seconds, I think you can stop. For an hour or so. Not okay. Huh? For a few seconds. Okay, it is only for the seconds, not for the thirds. If the third second, you cannot hold that. Okay, you can hold then you are believing only by breathing I can sustain myself, I can live, I can make up my living. For a few seconds, without breathing also you can maintain yourself. Is it? Then why do you believe that air itself is the prana, breathing itself is the prana? You can survive without breathing, at least for a few seconds. Then why do you believe that breathing itself is the prana?
Breathing will convert it into a prana shakti.
Is it? Okay, now I will shift myself. How long can you survive without eating the food? What do you like in food? Chapati, puri or rice? Okay. Rice will rise you. Okay. Okay. If you are not given the food for 2 days.
For the 2 Ekadashi, I will be without...
That's once in a fortnight. Yeah. It's not every day. Ekadashi cannot arrive on every day. It's in a 15 days. It's in a fortnight. It happens. Okay. But if you are not served with the food for 2 days or 3 days, can you survive? It becomes so impossible for you. If you cannot drink water for a few days, it becomes impossible for you. In the same way, if you cannot breathe for some time, it becomes impossible for you. But without food, you can survive for some time. Without water, you can survive for some time. Without breathing also, you can survive for some time. Without sunlight also, you can survive for some time. So prana is not dependent upon the water, air, food, at least for some time. So prana is a different entity from all these physical aspects. It is different. That's why it's called prana. Otherwise, we would have called the prana as the earth, as the water, as the light, sunlight, and so on. Though it has got its intimate connections with the Pancha Mahabhutas, 5 elementary aspects, it is little different from it. There is energy in the earth, there is energy in the water, there is energy in the sunlight, there is energy in the air, there is energy in the space even. All these energies are occurring in the human also, are found in the human also. So long they prevail themselves, we call the fellow is in a living state. This is what the prana is. But Patanjali's expectation, what is the sutra for Patanjali pranayama in Patanjali? Shvasa prashvasayor gati vichhedah pranayama. Am I right? Okay. Shvasa prashvasayor gati vichhedah pranayama. Shvasa prashvasayor gati vichhedah pranayama. So for every inhalation, there is a track and there is a target. It goes to some level of my inhalation, goes to some level. It goes to the lungs, to a particular part of the point of the lung, and so on. At some point of time, it stops. It cannot go beyond, because that's my physiological limitations. So Patanjali says, if you cannot drive your breath in or the breath out to a desired target, then try for it. If your breathing is stopping somewhere there, try to have a deeper inhalation. Try to have an elongated exhalation. By the way, you are going beyond your normal limitations of the inhalations and the exhalations. Gati vichhedaha. Going beyond normal movements of the breath is called pranayama. But anyway, in the further explanations, Patanjali says it is not merely an activity with your breathing. It's not a fighting with your air or the breath. it is really beyond. That is, you have been dealing with the energy called the prana. So this is the prana. When the heartbeat begins, when it begins, in the garbha itself, when it being in the womb itself. So that's that. So that's called pranayama. Okay. Anyway, I thank all of you. Have anybody studied Patanjali Yoga Sutra, sir? All the way you have been listening with such a curiosity. So thank you. I really thank you, because all of you are here with a curiosity and with an intention to know something about. Prana is such an entity, pranadhyaiva khalvimani bhutani jayante. In the Taittiriya, it is explained, pranena jatani jivanti pranam prayante bhi sammishanti. It is the cycle of energy. Energy is in a cycle. It takes different forms and also goes beyond forms. Whether it occupies a state of form or it remains merely in the form of energy, that energy is called prana. Sometimes it enters into a form, could be into a human being or to a dog or a donkey or a plant or whatever be that. By the time you will call that as this is donkey, that is dog, and so on. If that dies, you will say it is only the dead body. Okay. Perhaps you heard of a old say from the English literature. A fellow in the burial ground was digging a pit. A gentleman was passing by that way, and asked that man, who is that great man died today, for whose sake you are digging this? He answered, the fellow answered, who was digging it in the burial ground, for no man, sir, he answered. Then he turned and, oh, that could be a woman, he said. Who is that great woman for whose sake you are digging this? Then he answered, for no women, sir, he said. It is for no women, for no man. Then for whose sake you are digging this? He said, for a dead body, sir. It is for a dead body, sir. Once died, it is neither a woman nor a man. It's only a dead body. So when the prana leaves, it is left for always. It is merely a mass of flesh or so. So it is the cycle of the energy. Prana is everywhere. It exists always. Sometimes it enters into the forms like human being or animals or anything else, and sometimes it exists. But it exists always. Such an energy is called prana. That's all. It exists always. Pranasyedam vashet sarvam. What is the reference? From what text it is? It is from the Prashnopanishad. Very glad. Vashet sarvam. Tridiveyat pratishtitam. Vidhehina iti. Shrishta pragnascha vidhehina iti. It is from the Prashnopanishad. It is all this, what is prevailing here, seen or unseen, is under the control of Prana Shakti. That's why it's called Prana Shakti. It is a very good word by you. It's called Prana Shakti. So it is Prana Shakti. Everything is controlled by Prana Shakti. Okay, that's good. So much is the discussion. There is a long way to go to study the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. It is described in the 4 chapters. The first one is called the Samadhi Pada. Patanjali felt people will understand what Samadhi is. So his first chapter is called Samadhi Pada. If you study Samadhi Pada, it's enough. You need not go further. When you cannot understand the Samadhi Pada, then you are required to study the second. That's called the Sadhana Pada. You have to make some efforts. It is the chapter of practices called the Sadhana Pada. Then comes the Vibhuti Pada. What Vibhuti is? The results, the benefits, the powers. What are the powers I can acquire due to the practices of yoga is called the powers or the benefits. Because perhaps you have seen, if you are going to a yoga class, the first question is, why are you going to the yoga class? Then what's the answer? What are the normal answers?
To levitate.
Huh?
To levitate.
That's your answer, Wendy. Many people doesn't give such answer.
Oh, you want to be strong.
Yes, you are right now. I want to be strong. Nowadays there are so many. Because yes, I'm being influenced by my neighbor. I am also carrying the mat. Okay. Many people buy the mat, buy the shoes, buy the clothes and everything, get ready themselves, and finally plan, I shall go from the next month. Okay, such thing happens. It is not passion, it is only the fashion. Okay, for such reasons we really go. So that's called the Vibhuti Pada, the chapter of benefits. Patanjali gives, you can really have wonderful benefits out of the practices of yoga. But the benefits explained by, described by Patanjali are really different. Not that I have to go slim, I have to become stronger, I have to be more intelligent, not that. It is wonderful powers are there, you please go through it. That is called the Vibhuti Pada, and finally he goes to the chapter 4th one called the Kaivalya Pada, the chapter of the liberation or so called the enlightenment. That's called the Kaivalya. In these 4 chapters, Patanjali Yoga Sutras are explained. There is some 196 sutras are there. Please go through it. Being the practitioners of yoga, you should never restrict yourself with the practice of asanas. Yes, please. Yes, please.
How many sutras are related to asanas?
Asanas.
Because everybody says majority of the asanas, sutras are related to the mind.
Yes.
How many are related to asanas?
Only one sutra.
Only one?
Only one. Is that enough?
No, I don't know. I just want to ask.
See, with only one sutra on asana, we have been doing so many asanas. If you study whole yoga sutras, what do you do? Of course, particularly on Yogasana, there is only one sutra, Sthiram Sukham Asanam. But some of the other sutras also relate to Yogasana. There is Vyakhyana or the Tika by Vyasa, commentary by Vyasa. Tatra Sthiram Sukham Asanam. न चिरं स्थिरं सुखमेव तावदेव चिरं नास्ति तत्र स्थिरं सुखं एतावदेव तत्र स्थिरं सुखं. But in his commentary Vyasa gives so much of explanation. He says Padmasanam, Virasana, Sukhasana, Swastikasana, Vajrasana, Virasana. These are the example Vyasa gives in the beginning. Then he goes to the next level of explanations. Please go to the Vyasa's Bhashya, Vyasa's commentary. He says Padmasana, Vajrasana, Virasana, Sukhasana, Swastikasana, Bhadrasana. These are the different type of asanas he names. He goes to the next type of asanas. He says Krauncha Nishadana, Hasti Nishadana, Ushtra Nishadana. To sit like an elephant, to sit like a bird, to sit like a camel, and so on. These are the nishadanas. Actually, nishadana means sitting posture. Now he goes to the next level. Finally, he says Padmasana, Vajrasana, Virasana, Hasti Nishadana, Krauncha Nishadana, like the nishadanas. He says Samasamsthana. Finally says Samasamsthana. Samasamsthana means a balanced state of the body where the mind is also in balance. So Samasamsthana is the best explanation for an asana. In a state of asana, you should feel yourself comfortable, should be able to hold the posture for a long time, that is stable. Also your mind is not wavering. Your mind is still there. It is the stillness of the mind, not merely the stillness of the body. It is actually the stillness of the mind. Such a body posture, such a mental state is called the Yogasana. So the word Samasamsthana is in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. There is so many other explanations called the Sopashraya, another explanation by Vyasa. Please go to Vyasa's Bhashya. It is very good on yoga, because you asked whether there is only one sutra for Yogasana, as for the asana. So the explanation or the description by Vyasa is really so much. He enlists so much. On one title, one phrase, you have to work for a long time. He says Nishadanas, different type of Nishadanas. And Samasamsthana he also quotes. Sopashraya he says. Nowadays our people have been using belts, ropes, chairs and so many other things. Is it right way of doing? You are confused yourself to say yes or no.
It is yes.
It is yes. Why it is not no? If you had said no, I would have said why it's not yes.
At least with the help of the props, they are able to do some.
So we are in such a state of pity state to say at least to ourselves. At least we are doing yogasana with the help of ropes also. In such a pity state we are. This is not the expectation of Patanjali to say ourselves.
Correct the posture.
With the help of a rope.
It's a short span of time.
Okay.
So we can come to a better posture.
Okay.
We are using props.
If such is the case, go to the doctor. He will lose all your joints and you can do any asana. That's not the case. You should never apply force. Na balat, na hatat. No force, no challenge. That's the main sutra for Patanjali Yoga Sutra, for doing asanas. Okay. Anyway, never force yourself. That's not the right way of doing yogasanas. However, if at all you are using any props, it's only from the point of therapy. If that is a therapy, you can use that. If that is your seeking, it's not props. It's certainly not props. Okay.